All right, it is about to be day 2 of the NFL draft. We want to look at who are the best available players still out there for your fantasy football teams that NFL teams just haven't taken yet. So let's start off at the top. We're going to start with the quarterback position. These are the top 12 guys, but I'm going to group them together by position. So at quarterback, top guy, obviously Shedeur Sanders. He's a player that we thought had a good shot to go first round, but there had been rumblings that he might fall out of day 1. That has in fact happened. He did not get taken on day 1. I would be surprised though if he fell outside of the top 10 or so of the second round. There is a lot to like as far as intelligence and as far as accuracy go, which are 2 of the highest and most valuable assets a quarterback can have. So we're definitely keeping an eye on Shedeur Sanders. And Jalen Milroe, we're keeping an eye on him as well. He was invited to the NFL draft. We all kind of chuckled because we thought, why was he? We don't expect him to go day 1. He does, in fact, not go on day 1. But for fantasy football purposes, he, bar none, has the highest ceiling out of any quarterback at all. And one of the highest ceilings out of anybody, probably not named Ashton Genty in this class. However, the floor is he doesn't make an NFL start because he doesn't have the arm to do it. That's going to be the thing with Milroe. Where does he go? Is he able to be developed by the right quarterback coach? We're going to kind of have to wait and see how this all plays out, but there's no denying his abilities with the football in his hands. It's just, can he be the passer we need him to be? But obviously a great option for your fantasy football teams if he lands in a good spot on day 2. Let's head to running backs. Running backs, there are still so many good running backs available. We had 2 different running backs go on day 1. So top 4 guys that I still have on the board at running back. Travion Henderson, the easy number 1. For fantasy purposes, he was the running back 2 for me pre-draft. NFL draft, I had Omarion slightly ahead of him, but Travion is still there. He's an amazing pass catcher. He can do some big things. True home run threat in this class. He's going to hear his name very early on day 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is still a top 5 or 6 pick in your Superflex Dynasty drafts. Next up, Quinshon Judkins. I like Quinshon a lot. I think he's a very, very talented running back. He's a 3-down back that you can use in just a myriad of different ways. Very, very talented with the ball in his hands. He's got better long speed than people give him credit for. Just look at what happened at his combine, and he is a true workhorse. He will run through you, and he can catch the ball a little bit too. He got overshadowed by Travion Henderson, but go back to some of his Ole Miss days. He is totally capable in the receiving game. So I think those 2 guys, definitely top tier assets available on day 2. But we have 2 other running backs, Cam Skattebo and Dylan Sampson. Both of these guys I'm very excited about. Let's start with Skattebo. He's a player that can catch the ball well. He can run you over. He's got quick feet. Really does anything you would want a running back to do, other than he's not a guy that ran a 4.4. He's a guy that ran a 4.65, which is almost identical to what Josh Jacobs ran on his pro day, and he has been plenty fine in the NFL. I am not worried about that at all. I think he's going to hear his name earlier than a lot of other people do. I think we could hear it as early as the end of round 2, but he is not getting out of round 3. I think he's could end up being a great value for an NFL team. And then we mentioned Dylan Sampson. We mentioned him. He's another guy I like quite a bit. Yes, he's a little bit undersized, but he makes up for it with really good vision, some really good toughness, and he is a home run hitter. And that's what you want on your fantasy football teams. You want some guys that at times can just be game breakers and get that big, long run that you need them to. So even if he doesn't get the volume that a Skattebo or a Judkins might get, he has the ability to make some of those big plays that help turn the tide. All right, let's move over to the wide receivers. My top wide receiver available is Jalen Royals, wide receiver out of Utah State. Not a big name in the grand scheme of things, but he's a player that I like a lot. I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of ability, and he can play a lot of different positions. You can put him in the slot, you can put him at X, you can put him at Z, and I think he could be successful. Also a guy that has some good yards after the catch, which is really nice for both your NFL team and your fantasy football team. Next up, Jalen Knoll. This guy is an absolute blur on the field. One of the fastest players game speed wise that I've seen, and he does not throttle down. He is at full speed all the time. He has the opportunity to make some really big plays, and his value on special teams could even bump him up a little bit in NFL draft capital. I expect him to be a fairly early day 2 pick. This is a name that's fallen a little bit compared to where we would have had him before, but we had some concerns with his tape, And Luther Burden has fallen a little bit, but I still think he is one of the better prospects available for your fantasy football teams. He's a player that can make some absolute monster plays. He is just a goblin after the catch, can do some really good things. Yes, we have concerns about some of his route running and lackadaisical effort at times, but if you're going for ceiling, which he's probably falling to round 2 of your rookie drafts, the ceiling is absolutely there for Luther Burden. Last wide receiver, we've got Jaden Higgins, the other guy from Iowa State. Very different player than what we get out of Jalen Knoll, but big, physical, contested catch guy, has a really, really good catch radius. I worry a little bit about his separation, but for fantasy purposes, his ceiling could be a guy a lot like a T. Higgins. So definitely some ceiling there, a worthwhile draft pick. So he's my last of the wide receivers we're going to discuss. Best available tight end, we've got Mason Taylor out there, son of Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer. He's got a lot of NFL bloodlines. He's a really interesting prospect with some really, really high upside, very smooth, has a lot that he could still grow into. I think he could still grow into his body more, become an even better athlete. And if that's the case, he could end up being a monster at the next level. I think he's a top 50 pick, and I think he's going to be a second round pick in your super flex tight end premium leagues. Last one, we've got Elijah Aroro. This guy is ceiling. But it's all about the traits with him. The production was pretty lackluster. There were some injuries, but I think the ceiling for this kid, he's made for today's NFL. He can catch a lot of passes. He's got really good hands at the catch point, and he can stretch the field. So that wraps up my top 12 available players for day 2. Who are the best available guys on your board?